Hey, we are back. I'm Jim Barry. Welcome once again to Miami Life, the show that peels back the layers of life in South Florida. On this week's show, we're going to explore answers to keep your financial stress in check. And we'll introduce you to a local entrepreneur who has found a tasty recipe for success. But first this, places of worship are a vital part of life here for many, but lately trends show that more people in all age groups are turning away from organized religion. While about 75% of people in the U.S. identify with a specific religion, the importance of that faith, in their eyes, is on the decline. A recent poll shows less than half of Americans say religion is a, quote, very important part of their life. That number was nearly 60% as recently as 2005. So, where has the faith gone? It made us want to dig deeper in this week's 20/40/60, where 3 generations take on one topic. Our 3 guests embrace their spirituality in different ways. 20-something Pablo Saavedra attends services at History Makers Church in Pembroke Pines.
Let me bring that home for you. You want to change the world, and God says, go home and have dinner with your family and change your family. Start there. Start at something common and watch him do the uncommon.
His tattoo sleeve spells out his faith. Quickly run us through this sleeve you got here, because it says a lot.
Yeah, so I originally started off up here, so since young I've had a thing where I like to always say AG2G, right? All glory to God. So that's what we have here on this side, on the inside. Then I followed it up with faith, right? I mean, faith over fear. Just faith is important, because faith is the substance of things hoped for, the things that we do not see, right? Mm-hmm. And to be able to believe that no matter the circumstances that you're going through at the moment, that you can see the end at the light of the tunnel and that you will reach it.
Michelle Ayala, a 40-something public relations consultant, grew up in the Catholic Church, but her experiences as an adult prompted her to tap into her faith even more. Away from it for a while, but there were experiences as an adult that really made you explore your faith deeper. What were they?
Several experiences. I mean, COVID for one, becoming a mother. And my husband was diagnosed with cancer. So there were just back-to-back occurrences in my life that really made me realize that, really for my children more than anything, that I needed to give them something stronger than myself to lean on and to depend on as they grow.
Ron Wright is the elder statesman of the group. He attends Christ Journey Church in Coral Gables.
So we're glad to welcome you today. Those of you that consider yourself Christ Journeyers already, those of you that are joining us through church online, we're glad to be invited to your home today.
Led by Pastor Bill White. Wright says there is a disconnect between organized religion and younger people that must be overcome. They say that faith is failing because the family is in free fall, Ron, because many kids now are growing up without that family structure, and that's the way a lot of people first get introduced to their faith.
Sure. From their home, their parents are taking them to church, and there's been I think you're right, a disconnect from that as we live out in modern times, we'll call it. And so I think that leaves kids looking and searching. I've done some reading and understand that there's more of a draw towards spirituality in the younger generations than there has been in the past, but it's a spirituality without structure, without necessarily truth, and so there's a lot of confusion there for them, that if they had been raised in a church-going family, maybe that wouldn't be the problem for them. Yeah.
So Michelle, what would you say to someone who's listening to this conversation and maybe has wrestled with it and thought, well, yeah, maybe I should get back into church, but I'm feel a little out of touch? What would you say to them?
I would say, even explore going on your own, going by yourself, and finding that comfortable spot in the church where you don't feel like you're sitting in the spotlight. You can just sit there quietly and sort of take in what's happening. That's how I sort of re-entered the church, if you will. And actually going back to your question about, what are people missing out on in that community sense, I recently started to go to a Bible study, and what's been really enlightening for me is that you realize how everybody is really going through very similar experiences, no matter their circumstances or where they're coming from, their walks in life, and it's been very comforting from that perspective, enlightening, empowering, everything. It's just yeah, it's been powerful.
Shared experience means something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pablo says the structure of organized religion acts almost like a barrier that keeps Gen Z away.
For the most part, when it comes to the younger generation, I think as far as religion, there's been too many do's and don'ts, and it seems like set of laws, right? And I think the younger generation, like myself, depending on how you grew up in such a strict home that it kind of wants to push you away from that. More so because I believe firmly myself, and this is what got me, into Christ personally, in an intimate relationship with God, is that it's not about religion, more say as to relationship with God. And I think in terms of religion and this sense of rules and things that you have to abide by, rather than to enter into an intimate relationship, right, where you understand each other and grow in that. I think that's kind of pushed away the younger generation from wanting to have to do with that.
Ron, you've been a youth pastor and had many other parts and facets of faith in your life. You moved away from it for a while but came back. Can you relate to kind of what Pablo and Michelle have said?
Yeah, it makes me think, and a lot of people that I meet currently, that they are struggling with the organized religion aspect. They don't want to leave their faith. That's still important to them, but they're struggling because they don't feel like the organized religion, the church necessarily, is fulfilling what they really need.
What are they looking for?
I think that when I'm talking to them, it's in groups where they're seeking connection with others. They're looking for a relationship, and they're looking for a community, but they don't feel like they're getting that out of an organized, liturgical, maybe, kind of a structure.
Modern conveniences like smartphones have made social isolation a real problem. The challenge for churches is to get people to recognize the power of a community bonded by a shared faith. What are they missing, do you think, Michelle, by not getting that group experience?
Yeah, well, a couple of things have come to mind. I think that people tend to seek out things that are new and trendy, and sometimes when you go to church, it's the same old thing. It's the same old rituals. But that's kind of what's cool about it too, is that it's almost like stepping into a time machine. And it's, I'm as interested in things that stay the same.
I want to thank all of you for coming in today, because I think this is really enlightening and an important conversation to have. And I think maybe this conversation can touch other people who maybe can find their way back to their faith if they feel lost. And at the end of the day, if that happens, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
And Ron, no pressure for you to get a sleeve just like that. Okay?
Next week.
All right. On to another topic that matters to many of us, and that is the economy. Exit polls suggest it was one of the deciding factors in the 2024 presidential election. People are stressed over their finances and how to pay the bills, and it is affecting their mental health. Elliot Rodriguez delves into how you can get a handle on things.
When I go buy something, it's too expensive.
Can't afford the insurance.
You're not alone. More South Floridians are feeling the stress of higher food, gas, and housing costs, plus an uncertain future.
People have slowed hiring, so that hurts me in a way.
There are so many people that have to choose between buying dinner or getting health care or paying their mortgage or their rent.
CBS News Election Day exit polling found 45% of those surveyed are in worse financial shape than they were 4 years ago, with inflation causing a severe or moderate hardship for 3/4 of those polled.
Groceries are skyrocketing, prices are going high, but the economy in general is not doing well.
A study published by Empower last year showed more than half of Gen Z and millennials say their finances keep them up at night. So we went straight to a financial expert to find out what you can and should be doing right now.
It's very, very much a matter of control, of people knowing where their money is going.
Make sure you know how your money is being spent. Use an Excel spreadsheet or a notepad to document every deposit and withdrawal.
Buy a little pad, keep it with you, back pocket, breast pocket, and whatever you spend, note it for about a month. Anything, whatever, any swipe you make, any cash expenditure you make, and then as the month goes by, start to categorize it. and see where your money is actually going. And that is really an eye-opener for many people.
And once you do that, stay on top of it. Update your finances routinely so you can see how spending habits have changed. There's also this piece of advice when getting a hold of your finances and financial stress.
When you begin this kind of a process, leave the past behind. You know, you start working on this, work from shoulders forward. What happened behind you happened. You know, it's okay. We don't need to revisit it.
Good advice. Thanks to Elliot Rodriguez for that info. It is important to make a financial plan and stick to it. And it is always a good idea to talk to someone to help you manage the stress, whether it's a financial planner or a licensed therapist. All right, up next on Miami Life, meet a Latina businesswoman who is inspiring a generation of entrepreneurs.
Believe in yourself and do not let the world define who you are. Stay true to yourself.
From empanadas to empowering others, this lady has found her recipe for success, but it was not always easy. Her story next. Welcome back to Miami Life. This week's person of interest is an entrepreneur who is cooking up an empanada empire. Pilar Guzman has guided Half Moon Empanadas from a single store teetering on the edge of bankruptcy to a booming biz that's now in dozens of U.S. airports. It's an overnight success story, 15 years in the making. Okay, I've always thought it's really rude to eat on television.
No, please.
You know what?
You have to. You have to show it, please. Because otherwise it's just me talking.
There's a reason empanadas are a staple of Latino culture. They're delicious, and Pilar Guzman wants everyone to take a bite.
Empanada it's something you find in every Latin country, right? So in a way, we're bringing that to America, and that's kind of my dream. You know, I want to position the empanada as an iconic brand, as an iconic menu item in the food in America.
Guzman has always dreamed big. She came to the U.S. from Veracruz, Mexico as a teenager, chasing her version of the American dream.
So I'm a little bit crazy, I'm an idealistic, and I'm a dreamer.
It led her to launch Half Moon Empanadas in 2008.
Why Half Moon? What's the name? Where'd you get the name?
Half of the moon because of the shape of the empanada. So it's got the shape.
Why didn't I think of that?
But after her first shop on South Beach failed, things looked bleak.
Because I heard that you went through some challenges like that, a bankruptcy, and you were down to your last, what?
I mean, nothing, pennies also. Less than $1,000 to run a whole business and have a family and feed 2 kids.
So sometimes you have to fail forward.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I think you learn by failing. You have to fail in order to realize, oh my God, what I was doing wasn't right. How can I? And I think that's the secret, is how you get up, right?
Guzman sold empanadas at street festivals to pay the rent until she cooked up a new path for Half Moon while on the campus of the University of Miami.
I had an appointment for offering the empanadas as catering, and the guy is like, no, we don't do catering of empanadas, but I had this cart. So they showed me a little cart in the middle of a building, and that's where I saw the street festival in the university. I'm like, students passing by, oh, yeah, this is it. And that was the aha moment. I'm like, okay, this is where we're gonna make some money.
Guzman saw empanadas as the perfect food for people on the go. So she set up shop at Miami International Airport. You can't miss the storefront in Concourse D. It's drenched in hot pink, the boss's favorite color.
You go into airports and you see the little pink corner, and obviously the pink, CEO.
But then the pandemic hit, and Guzman had to pivot again. To keep her doors open and her employees working, she started making meals for senior citizens.
We had everybody employed. All of these people you see in the universities, the hospitals, the places we have in Miami, came to our kitchen location, and we reinvented the whole kitchen and started doing meals for seniors for a year and a half. We will do 3,000 meals, pre-pack them, we learn logistics to deliver door to door.
Well, today, Half Moon is thriving. The storefront at MIA is now the top-selling business per square foot in the airport. By the end of 2024, they'll be in 50 airports nationwide. They're also in hospitals and at college campuses like FIU's, where along with the spicy beef empanada, the young customers also get some life advice from the owner.
So what would you tell these young people who have dreams of their own?
Well, continue to study. get involved in extra academic activities that will teach you leadership skills, not just school, leadership skills. Dream big and work really hard. It can be done. It can be done. As women especially, we can do it.
Half Moon's menu includes traditional empanadas like spicy beef and chicken, along with the original creations like the dulce de leche. Every single empanada is made at their factory in Midtown before being shipped out. All the ingredients are made fresh daily, and each empanada is weighed to make sure it's at least 115 grams. And they also stamp each one so you know which flavor you're buying. How they do it is hush-hush, so we can't show you. As a Latina entrepreneur, Guzman feels a responsibility to lift others up. 75% of her employees are women, and almost all are Latino.
People with me doing the work, the magic, which that's what drives my heart, you know. I get excited every day about seeing the company grow, but seeing the people in the company grow.
Her message to people who want to pursue their dreams is simple, but it's one that has served her well.
Believe in yourself, work really hard, get up and learn from when you're down, and bring people along the way, and remember to help out along the way. So if my company can be that sort of machine of opportunities for people, I'm done. You know, it's a good job for me.
I'd say mission accomplished. All right, still to come, a popular restaurant and bar forced out of its longtime home in South Miami.
You're nervous that one of the last local watering holes is going to be gone eventually, because West Miami, everything that they knock down turns into a high-rise.
But good news for fans of the Deli Lane Cafe, it's not going far. We're going to explain when Miami Life returns. Welcome back. Big changes coming to South Miami. You probably have heard about this. Sunset Place is going to be knocked down to make way for new apartments and shops. Neighborhood landmarks are often forced out by new development, and the Deli Lane Cafe and Sunset Tavern among those casualties. But as CBS News Miami's Nakai Carrero tells us, it's not going far.
We've been here since 1988, so that's a very long time to be in one place.
They are staples in the South Miami community. Deli Lane and Sunset Tavern have sat in the same spot right off US 1 for 36 years. Jan Kirchhoff is one of the owners. He says it's their dedication to the business that has made them last this long.
We work every day. We love what we do. We're part of the community, and it's a big part of why we're still here. Of course, we have a great product. Let's not despair about that.
And like so many businesses in the city, the restaurant will soon be out of its original location. For some, like Robert Ortega, it's another blow to Miami traditions.
You're nervous that one of the last local watering holes is going to be gone eventually, because West Miami, everything that they knock down turns into a high-rise. So we're turning into New York slowly but surely.
But this case is different. Deli Lane and Sunset Tavern are moving right across the driveway from their current location, a keeping of tradition by the business and the family of their landlord who passed away a few years ago.
They are going to sell the property, but they wanted to keep us going. So they also own the historical buildings on the corner that are going to be 100 years old next year, and they are going to gut that space and build it out for us to move Deli Lane and the tavern over there.
The move isn't expected to happen for another year and a half at least, but they say they will be operating up until the very last second. In South Miami, Nakaya Carrero, CBS News, Miami.
Glad to hear it will have new life. We'll be right back after this. All right, time to hear from you, the Miami Life audience. And you all had lots of opinions on Tua Tagovailoa, the Dolphins quarterback, returning to football after his latest concussion about a month ago. Several people expressed concern about him playing again, saying, quote, "Do we have to watch this poor guy die on the field? Enough already." Here's another. "I have always liked Tua and admired his talent at Alabama. Seems like a really good guy, but I do honestly worry about his long-term health prospects. I really hope he doesn't have any future consequences." And another viewer blames Tua for the NFL changing some of its rules. "It's because of players like him. They're not allowed to tackle in the NFL. They cater to these guys and change the foundation of the sport." He needs to retire. Keep sending us your comments and feedback to cbsmiami@cbs.com. That's going to do it for this week's edition of Miami Life. Remember, we'll see you every Thursday for Miami Life at 6:30 on the stream. You can also watch all Miami Life episodes on demand on our YouTube channel. I'm Jim Barry. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon.